welcome to Drive-By Reviews. Today we're looking at the Chevy Cruze LTZ, circa 2012. This is a turbocharged 1.4 liter engine, and I've had the opportunity to drive it since 2012 for way too many miles, over 75,000. And I'm going to give you today kind of the overall review of how I like it, as well as some of the factory or the warranty covered repairs that had to be done very early on and throughout this entire process of owning. All right, let's just give you a quick circle around of the car so you can get a feel for how it looks. I like the grille. It's probably my favorite part of the exterior. And I changed out the decal with carbon fiber covered because I like a little black on black. The lines and the indentations on the exterior I like. I like the LTZ's upgrades where they have these little chrome markings in the handles. The rims, of course, I mean, you can't go less than that. Very beautiful. And a sleek design. By the way, the trunk has 15.5 cubic feet, which is pretty fantastic. Taillights, I give it an A+. And again, I like the chrome. Some people don't like the chrome. And there you have it. Alright, here's where we get to start getting into the nitty-gritty of this car. I'm going to kind of point out one of the upgrades that come with the LTZ and their bells and whistles. I don't really care for this, but it's there. To lock the door, you can kind of just touch it. Now, of course, as you saw, I just unlocked the car by pulling the handle. It's a keyless fob, so it's just all based on proximity. It will unlock the doors, and you can program that however you want. Now, being an eco car, the thing about getting in is it is a little low, but as being the LTZ model, you do have heated leather seats in the front, and the driver's side is electric with all its adjustments. Here's a closer view of the controls in the car. One of the biggest complaints, again, is people say this is a little far for the driver to reach. But I would say that's minute in comparison to these dials down here. These control the fan and the cooling system, which is usually on auto for me. I like the car controlling itself. One of my favorite things about this is the thermostat control. 72 degrees all the time. But every once in a while I'll be driving with somebody else that's taller than me, over 5'8" or so, and all of a sudden the fan's on full speed, and I'm not sure why. And it turns out if you hit this just barely, you just touch it and it changes in any capacity 1 notch, it will turn off from auto and just start using whatever setting you're on. Menu on this car, you've got the classic variations in how you want to look at your mileage, your MPG. I like leaving it on the speedometer setting. You've also got your fuel economy, which, come on, how much fuel you've used, how long the engine's been running, days, hours, and of course the navigation system, which is pretty much bogus. But here's the best part about it. You've got an internal battery voltage meter, coolant temperature meter, remaining oil life, which is pretty accurate as long as you reset it accurately, and then tire pressure, which is great because you hit something, you're wondering, man, are my tires okay? Just check your tire pressure, see what's going on. All right, so it's an automatic 6-speed transmission, and yeah, always buckle up when you drive. So the power steering here is very cushy, very cushy. It depends what you like. It's responsive enough, but it's almost like driving a marshmallow steering wheel. It's very cushy, and I like that comfort. Being an eco car, you're always going to have a little bit of road noise. You're always going to have a little bit of lack of handling, and of course this is a 1.4 liter turbocharged engine, so the speed is there, but it's not going to get you out of an insane pinch. It just doesn't have the torque. Now, what I like about this car especially is you know, all the bells and whistles combined make it very usable for a day-to-day commuter, and the design makes it look like you're not copping out and getting a beater. Okay, now this is an interesting point that I wish I knew before I bought the car. I do like the car, and I've used it a lot, over 75,000 miles in the last couple years, but the car has had a plethora of warranty, you know, kind of recalls on parts. One of the biggest one was this particular year car had problems catching on fire. The oil pan actually was catching oil, and I actually saw the fix after they did it on this car because it was, you know, warranty recalled into the shop, and they just cut the pan so that it didn't catch oil and catch on fire. Silly. Within months of buying the car, my tire pressure sensors started going out one by one. Okay, so the car is small. It's an eco car, so of course you don't have a ton of capacity and room. The trunk is actually rather large for the size of the car, and you're going to fit people comfortably in the front seats. The back seats, kind of small. Don't expect people to be happy being back there. All right, let's take a look at some of the power here. I'm going to move it over to the manually shifting mode, or Shiftronic mode as some people call it. And let's go 0 to 60. So let's take a look at this. I'm just gonna touch red line is all I'm gonna do. So here we are at 0 and so as you can see, not the fastest car in the world. Definitely a car that's got some get up and go considering it's a 1.4 liter and it can get some pretty decent gas mileage. I mean, the nice thing here is you're looking for a car that's going to get you from point A to point B, look decent, have some decent bells and whistles that get you comfortably through your day. Bluetooth is becoming more of an essential issue, and the Bluetooth system works well here. It's just a little bit of a lengthy two-step process. Because the car is supposed to have low road noise, as they claim, and that's basically the doors have a better seal is all that is, and it lets less wind road noise in. Alright, cons. Biggest cons with the LTZ. Well, let's see here. One is going to be the fact that a lot of things have gone wrong with the car. Small things. Lots of small things going wrong with the car. I anticipate as this car gets older, there'll be a lot of electrical problems as well, considering what has happened to it. Another con, you know, the handling, as I said earlier, is a little cushy. It's not a performance car by any means. And of course, the speed is a little sluggish, especially as you thump on the gas. It's not going to get you out of a pinch really quickly. Greatest pros. I've done a lot of self-work on this, self-repairs, and that's because it's extremely cheap to buy the components, so the labor costs are the highest, and it's actually not hard. You can change out the internal cabin filter with just your hands. You can change out, you know, the filter itself with just a screwdriver like normal. But beyond that, it's a great compromise. I think if you're getting this car, the main thing is just don't get it brand new. And at the end of the day, you got to take care of it. The leather is held up very well to dogs and people and idiots. You know, with some minor scratches and wear from use. The exterior paint has not done very well, chipping just from normal driving use. To finish off the bells and whistles, the LTZ has an auto-dimming mirror, XM radio, it has OnStar, which, you know, you have to pay to use. The navigation system is a joke because it's right on this little teeny monitor that I like to use for my speed anyways, and you have to have OnStar in order to even use it. But if you use the car as it was intended, long distance driver, eco-friendly, not as a race car, you're going to actually like what you got. It's going to be very good for you. All right, well, there you have it, the Chevy Cruze LTZ. If you guys have any questions on this particular car, feel free to leave some comments, because after 75,000 miles, I think I pretty much know everything you would need to know to decide if you want this car or not. And I'd be curious how everyone else's experience is with this car if you own it for yourself. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Tune in next time for the next drive-by review.